speech off.
Hey guys, this is Skylar. I am completely blind. I'm autistic and I have a chronic heart condition. Today we're going to talk about weird letter combo sounds in my dreams. Now, I've told people this, other people on my channel, and I've made videos about this. I have very vivid, lifelike, multi-dimensional, multi-sensory dreams. And, I mean, my sleeping brain comes up with some pretty wild stuff sometimes. And it's sometimes a blessing, sometimes it's a curse. But I'm going to be talking about something that I've noticed over the time. Over the years, I've noticed that a lot of the names in my dreams, names of objects that exist in my dreams, stuff like that, have a VL or a VR combo in their names. Which VL and VR are not very common letter combo sounds in English. At least not in America where I'm from. Now in Russia there are a lot of VL names like Vladimir, Pavlov. Those are kind of Russian names, but here in America I don't really know a lot of VL names or VRs. Most of the VR names that I know are last names, and they're very few and far between. So yeah, anyways, let's get right to it. So it all started when I was, I think, 13. In real life, I started liking the name Vladimir because I started learning about Vlad the Impaler and Vlad Tepes. You can learn more about him all over the place on YouTube. He was a man in Romania in real life, in actual real history, that liked to impale people, the Ottoman Turks. And yeah, I'll put a link to him in the description. Well, not him, but a link about him, and you can go click on it if you wish. So yeah, that kind of set the whole VR thing in motion. No. As far as VR, I think I know how/when that got started. Okay, when I was 13 years old, I had a dream about a song. Okay, so if you've ever seen the Titanic movie and you heard that sad song that begins with the famous 5 words, "Every night in my dreams," it's called "Heart Will Go On." It's a very sad song. I don't really like that song very much because it's so sad and depressing that it's almost suicide-inducing. But so that song has been in a lot of my nightmares. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but just saying. When I was 13, I had a dream that somebody decided that they were going to sing that song, but instead of singing "Every Night in My Dreams," which is what the song says, they, for some unknown reason, I still don't know why they did it, said "Vree night in my dreams." Now, one theory that I have is maybe they were too lazy to say "every," so they chose to kind of shorten it to "vree." But, like I say, that's just a theory, and really, it happened in my dream, so who knows? Who knows? But "vree night in my dreams" has been in my dreams ever since then. I mean, you can ask my mom. And I often refer to that song and my family as the "Vree Night in My Dream" song. "Heart Will Go On," the "Vree Night in My Dream" song. So yeah. When I was like 17, I started having dreams about, wait a minute, let's back up. When I was 15 years old, I had a dream that I dated a man that I thought was a human, but he was not. His name was Zack Vreslur. Zack, Z-A-C-K, space, Vreslur. V-R-E-S-L-U-R. He was a guy that I thought was a human, but he wasn't. There's these evil creatures in my dreams called rounders, and they force people to go on what are called tews, T-E-W-S, which are like electric merry-go-rounds that spin about 200 revolutions per second. Rounders are just evil, satanic creatures in my dreams. So, yeah, anyways, I let my guard down in my dreams, and I dated, we'll just say that, this guy named Zack Vreslur, and come to find out he was a rounder. So, yeah. Okay, so now when I was 17, I started having dreams about what I now call vlowering. V-L-O-W-E-R-I-N-G. Vlowering. Now, what is that? To vlower means to throw up enough water out of your mouth to fill up the room and, like, drown somebody. So, obviously that cannot happen in real life, thank God. But in my dreams, it does occasionally. I am afraid of drowning. Drowning has always been one of my biggest fears. But vlowering is kind of worse because the water's coming from you, and there's often no way you can stop it. When you vlower, you throw up water out of your mouth. It's just water. It's nothing else. Just clear water coming out of your mouth, and it fills up the entire room. It fills up the entire room as if the room was a cup underneath a faucet. So from the floor all the way up to the ceiling would be filled with water. Usually in my dreams, like a germ can cause vlowering, but I've had dreams about being stressed out and having a vlowering disorder. But also I've had dreams about demons causing somebody to vlower. So yeah, it's not good, okay? It's just not good. Now the most common word that I've been using a lot, vrepe. V-R-E-P-E, vrepe. Now, what is a vrepe? A vrepe is, vrepe is a racial slur for a rounder. You remember a rounder is an evil creature in my dreams that looks like a human, but it does evil things. Like it forces humans to go on tews, which are those things that spin 200 revolutions per second. But also rounders do evil things, like they eat children, they cook children live. They're just satanic. I'll spare you most of the details, but I mean, I probably gave you more than you can handle, but yeah. Calling a rounder a vrepe is very offensive to them. It's like a racial slur or a derogatory term for a rounder, a vrepe. V-R-E-P-E, vrepe. So if you run into a rounder and you call them a vrepe, it's gonna be like very offensive. I mean, just think of something. Think of somebody calling you the most offensive name. That's what vrepe is to a rounder. If you call a rounder a vrepe, it's very offensive. Which I usually don't use derogatory terms. But when it comes to rounders, I will, because I honestly hate them. And there's even a sign language for it. Like in my dreams, when you flash the V, this is flashing the V. You see my hand? My hand, this, that's flashing the V. You see I have my index and middle fingers spread out in a V. If you were to do that to a rounder, that's like you calling them a vrepe. But yeah, the most scary dream that I've had with the VL and VR combo sound is recently I've had a dream about this device called a vrippler. V-R-I-P-P-L-E-R. It looks like a long metal, skinny rod of metal, about a little bit thicker than a lollipop stick. Like 3 times thicker than a lollipop stick, attached to a crank. Now the thin piece of metal would go into your spinal cord, but the crank would be, you know, on the outside of your body. So when somebody turns the crank, you would just be having, you know, have a crank sticking out of your back, but with the little metal piece will be embedded in your spinal cord. So when somebody cranks the crank, your arms will be stiff at your side like mine are right now. Your legs will be super stiff like mine are right now. Hold on, let me back up. Do you see how I'm standing? This is what you would look like. And you wouldn't be able to move until the person returned the handle back to its normal position. And your speech would jumble. Like you go, and you would stop talking. I had a dream, I've had dreams almost back to back about somebody wanting to install a vrippler in me. It's a surgical procedure in my dreams, and well, obviously because they have to go in through your spinal cord, they would probably have to know what they were doing. But yeah, I've had like 2 dreams almost in a row. Excuse me, about somebody trying to install a vrippler in me. I do not like those dreams at all. Because, I mean, just think about it. If you had that in you, somebody could just turn the crank and you would be paralyzed until they turned it back to its normal position. It's not electronic, but I don't even know how it works, to be honest with you. It's just, there's no electronic components to it. But, I mean, think about it. Somebody turns that crank and or even bumps into it by accident, and you're stuck in that position that I was just doing, and you can't talk, and you can barely breathe. I mean, somebody could take advantage of you. I mean, there's a whole slew of ways that the vrippler could go wrong or go awry or go be used against you in a bad way. Now, the only good way that I can think you could use a vrippler is maybe if you were in a prison. If you worked in a prison, maybe, and you had all the criminals fitted with one, I could see maybe how that would work. Especially the dangerous, more violent criminals, like the murderers or rapists or gang members or stuff like that kind of people. I could see how a vrippler maybe would help with that type of situation. But I am a normal, law-abiding citizen. I do not need something in my spinal cord that is going to make me, well, paralyzed and look all stiff like the way I was. So, yeah. Sorry, I got off on a little tangent there. But yeah, VL and VR are very used in my dreams. They're not very common in real life, but I mean, I know a few. VR is the most uncommon. Like, there's a YouTube channel, Mike Vrobel. He cooks things. Maybe I'll put a link to him in the YouTube channel. Shout out to Mike if you're listening. But yeah, VL and VR, just think about that for a while. And now there's a new bipolar drug coming out called Vrellar. It's just so weird. I mean, the VR combo is just not something that you hear every day, right? So yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I can publish it. Hopefully I didn't take too long. God bless.